Hello students, welcome again. Students, in my previous video lecture, I discussed Hellenism in John Keats' poetry, and today we want to discuss this phrase or this term, negative capability, according to John Keats. In fact, when we read the whole history of English literature and when we come across the poets like John Keats, William Wordsworth, Astor Coleridge, P.B. Shelley in the beginning of the 19th century, that means in the period of Romantic revival, there we come across this term negative capability. This phrase was first used by very popular poet John Keats, okay, and he used this term, he used this phrase when he wrote a letter to his two brothers George and Tom, which was written, this letter was written in 1817. Actually, John Keats was much inspired and influenced by the poets like William Shakespeare, and he found this element which he calls negative capability in the poets like William Shakespeare, and he believed that if you want to be a good poet, if you want to be a great poet, you must have this negative capability within you, which makes you an immortal poet. And John Keats himself became an immortal poet not only during his times but even during the modern times. People respect John Keats as a very important poet of romanticism. Now, as you can see on the screen, he wrote this sentence in a letter. Let me explain this to you. He said that at once it struck me what quality went to form a man of achievement. Okay, what makes you a man of achievement? Okay, he says that a man of achievement means, he says that a man who writes great poetry. So, what makes you such a great poet? Okay, essentially in literature, if you want to be an extraordinary poet, what qualities make you such an uncommon, extraordinary poet? As Shakespeare possessed this enormously. Enormously means hugely. Okay, Shakespeare possessed this quality enormously. Now, what is that quality? He means to say negative capability. Now, what is this negative capability? He writes for the negative capability, that is, when man is capable of being in uncertainties, mysteries, and doubts. Okay, so when you remain in some mysteries, or when you remain in doubts or uncertainties without any irritable reaching after fact or reason. Okay, so I actually let me tell you, Keats was a poet who believed that this world could never be fully understood on specific parameters, right? I mean, he says that human nature you cannot understand with your reason or with your intellect. It is highly complex. Okay, he believes that we are most likely to gain new insights if we stop assuming that we know everything. Okay, say for example, if you believe that I know everything, so then there your progress of knowledge stops. Okay, so always believe that you have hundreds and millions of such things which are yet to be explored. There are some mysteries in this world which you need to understand. Okay, so with this humility, the quality of humility must be there in the poet. He also says that human beings are always very complex. Human nature is highly complex than we actually see or understand with our reason or intellect. with your intelligence, with your reason, with your logic, you can never be successful in understanding human nature. Okay, and so uncertainties are always there in human life, doubts are always there in human life. Okay, so you should not resist these things, right? You should not argue against such uncertainties or mysteries or doubts. You remain in that condition of mystery, doubts, and uncertainties, and then you write poetry. Okay, so he believed that poet should always try to express these uncertainties of human life, mysteries and doubts of human life in poetry, okay, without even trying to offer any answers to these mysteries. Okay, so that is the reason why, when you read John Keats' poetry, you find mysteries in his poetry. Okay, you find doubts and uncertainties in his poetry. And the same is the case with William Shakespeare, and that was the reason why he was much inspired by William Shakespeare. Okay, so true literature, according to John Keats, is the literature which expresses the mysteries, doubts, and uncertainties of human life without offering any solutions to these mysteries. Okay, so that is the power called, that is the capacity of negative capability. Okay, this makes you a great poet according to John Keats. So I hope now you understand this term negative capability. If you still have any doubts or questions, do write to me in the comment section of this channel, and please do share this video among your friends and classmates. Thank you for watching. Thank you.